Yo, what's up everybody? I wanted to do a video to show you how my two-handed barbarian build works and how you can actually play a two-handed barbarian in Inferno without a ton of trouble. A lot of people think that the only way to play a barbarian in Inferno right now is with a sword and a shield, and that is definitely not the case. There are a lot of different builds that are viable as long as you play them correctly and also you have a little bit of the right gear. Now, just to kind of prefix this right away, I want to make it clear to you guys, I have some pretty terrible gear. Like, my gear on my barbarian is not that great. I've only got about 34,000 HP and around 700 resists and about 8,000 armor, and that's fully buffed. So it's not the best, but it works out for at least Act 2. I'll probably need a little bit more gear and damage for Act 3. Right now my damage is only about 16,000, and so it's very, very, very low, especially for a two-handed barb, which a big part of being a two-handed barb is having a lot of damage, but it works out great for now. I just finished beating Belial in Inferno, and so I wanted to show you guys just kind of how this works out. And really it all comes down to how you use your abilities, and I'll actually put a link to the full skill build down below, and I'll talk about it at the end of the video. The main thing though is to learn how to use your cooldowns. So this particular pack here is one of the most dangerous, as it is a fire chains, and that usually will just destroy you. Now I was able to do okay because I popped all of my cooldowns. I have two very, very defensive abilities. One of them is Leap Strike and the other is Ignore Pain. And so what I do is I use Leap Strike. It gives me 300% extra armor. That's 4 seconds of pretty much being able to run in and not take hardly any damage at all whatsoever. And then once that's over with, I can use Ignore Pain for another 7 seconds of not really taking any damage. During that time, I'm able to output a lot of damage onto the enemies and not really worry about my health at that point. But I do have to pay attention to the cooldowns on those. I have to make sure that I always have those defensive skills up when I'm going in for those difficult fights. And since the cooldown on Leap Strike is only 10 seconds, that's going to be the main ability that you use for non-elite pack fighting. But for the most part, when you get up against an elite pack, you're going to go up there and get your frenzy going and use your Leap Strike and then turn yourself into Wrath of the Berserker with Insanity and try and do as much damage as possible to completely just destroy the pack that you're fighting against as fast as possible. And that's going to make it so that you can clean those guys up before your cooldowns are all over with. Since your Ignore Pain has a 30-second cooldown, what you're going to do is leap in for 4 seconds, use Ignore Pain for 7, and then by then you'll be able to do another Leap Strike for another 4 seconds. At that point, you should have killed at least 1 or 2 things. If not, they're fairly low, so you just run back, kite around for a little bit, and then you can Leap Strike again, do some more attacks, move back, Leap Strike, attack a few times, and that's pretty much how you do it. All the while, you're always going to be spamming Revenge with Provocation Rune, and that's going to give you a little bit of health back. The main source of healing that I have is both health potions and health globes that I get from just doing a lot of damage and killing things. So don't rely on all of your healing to come from Revenge unless there's just a lot of weak stuff. And yes, you will get quite a bit of healing from that. Also, I do recommend getting some life on hit. When I recorded all of this footage, I actually didn't have any life on hit. Instead, I was using a 70% critical damage gem on my sword. But after a little bit of fighting, I decided to go ahead and put a purple star gem inside of my sword, which is only 300 life on hit. But I felt like it was good. If I was able to find a weapon with like about 600 to 800 life on hit and a socket for another 300, I think that would be amazing. Or I can just put in some critical damage at that point, not worry as much about the life on hit, because with damage reduction, all the life that you're getting back from auto attacking is really, really big. And so a lot of times it just comes down to, again, using those cooldowns and making sure that you kite around. If you get a little bit low on HP, kind of step back, wait for your health potion, try and get some health globes from killing the weaker mobs, and you should be good to go. But let's go ahead and I'll show you what items that I'm using, which again are not that great, and you can see kind of how this full thing is working.
Okay, so now that I've showed you like how it works, the gameplay and stuff like that, I want to go ahead and show you the skill build and the items and whatnot that are going to be required in order to make a two-handed barb work. So yes, just like any other barb or in most other classes, you are going to need some pretty good gear to make this work, but it's not anything insane. In fact, my gear is actually pretty damn terrible. I built it up though, and I bought a few things here and there, and I was able to get to the point where I'm at now. So let me just show you what I've got here. Basically, I'm just going for as much resists and armor as possible. And so let me show you my details. Right now, unbuffed, I've got about 500 physical resist. That's my main one. And the rest of them are around like 450 for the important ones. So poison's actually a little bit low, to be honest, and that's going to make some parts in Act 2 a little bit difficult because there's a lot of mobs that shoot poison at you. But I've gotten my fire up to 466 and my physical to 504, so that's kind of where I like to be. And then whenever I buff it up, it goes up to just under 800, so still pretty bad. It's enough though for two-handed barb to work. My armor is 8400, so it's decent. Obviously, I'd have a lot more with a shield, but for the most part, that's pretty good for Act 2. It's good enough to, I mean, I've been doing it, so as you can see, it's good enough with your cooldowns and the correct play, you can make it work. My critical hit damage is at 203%. It's because of my two-hander, which I just bought literally yesterday, and I think I bought it for about $1 million. It's got 158 Vita on it, and it has 57% crit damage increase and another 70% from the gem that I placed inside of it. So that's where I get a lot of my attack speed from. If you notice, I've got actually 1.49 attacks per second, so that helps me get my frenzy going really quickly. So right now I've got a ring that I found, luckily, that has 38 resist to all and 38 physical resist. Stats aren't the best, but you know, it's got resist on it, so it's pretty decent. And then another ring that gives me a little bit of life on hit and some attack speed, and it's actually an intelligence ring. This is actually not that great of a ring. It's for my wizard, but I put it on this guy because it gave me attack speed and life on hit. It's a really bad ring. Like I said, my barb gear is terrible. I've been kind of sharing gear back and forth between my wizard. In fact, I bought this sword for my wizard, to be honest, but it actually worked out better than my mace, so I decided to start using it. I've got boots with resist all and physical resist and a little bit of strength, no Vita, so kind of bad, but it does have armor, so it gives me that. If you notice, I've only got 37k HP, pretty bad. I really wish I had more. If I had like 50k HP, I'd feel a lot more confident. Also these pants, which are for my wizard as well, 150 int, but they also have 88 strength, 71 Vita, a little bit of resist all and some fire resist and magic fine, which is good. And then my belt, which is pretty bad as well. It only has Vita and strength. I need a better belt. I've got some chest armor, which is pretty damn good, I think. At least for now. It's got 2 gems in it, so I was able to add some extra stats to it. It's got some strength and Vita. Main thing is the resist to all and 45 to physical. That's the easiest way to get your resist, is to double up. Find gear that has both resist all and also has another stat on it, and that's going to help you out. These bracers I was lucky enough to find also doing my butcher runs, and they have not only armor on them, but they have resist all, they have Vita and strength, so pretty good. They could have another resist stat on it, but with the extra armor, I'm happy about them, especially since I found them in Act 1. This right here, Amulet, is not the best, but it gives me a little bit of damage and it gives me strength and Vita, which, you know, I need lots of Vita. I probably would be better out putting some more Vita in some of these gems, but at the same time I get armor and I get damage from them, and if you notice, my damage is actually very low. So as a two-handed barb, you want as much damage as possible. I would like to get up to around 40k, but right now I just don't have the gear for that. I need more strength and I need more crit and I need more attack speed. All those different stats make a big difference. So what else? I've got a helm here that is pretty bad as well. I'm still looking for another helm that has all resist on it, but right now it has fire resist, so it's okay. That's definitely going to be one of my next upgrades, is getting a helm with a socket and putting a percentage life gem inside of it. That's a big thing. Put a percentage life gem in your helmet. I could definitely go for a string of ears and then like a helmet with a socket. Those are 2 big upgrades for me. My shoulders I'm okay with. You know, it has lightning resist, which is not my favorite stat, but 48 to all, it's okay. And then decent strength and Vita on them, so not terrible, and decent armor as well. This is Act 4 shoulders. And then my gloves are terrible. I could definitely use more gloves. A low strength amount, but has resist all, so whatever, I'm using them. So that's my gear. Kind of bad. And I think most of you guys, with enough farming, you can get that without waiting around too much longer. You know, with just a couple of runs of the butcher, a couple of days of doing that, you should be able to have enough money. Basically, most of the stuff I bought, but some of it I found. I found the pants, found the bracers, I found this ring, and the rest of it I had to buy. So I think you guys can probably get to my level. I don't honestly farm that much. I farm butcher for like 1 day, and then I've done some other things and here and there, and So I don't know. I get bored of farming. Hopefully you guys got something out of this video though. Oh, yeah, let me show you my build, obviously. So my build is pretty simple, and I'll actually put a link to it down below, but I'll explain what I'm doing. Sidearm with Frenzy, that gives you a lot of damage. Whenever you're hitting those sidearms, they actually fly out and they'll hit AoE, so it allows you to do a lot of extra damage. Leap, that's like your main thing with this build. It gives you the 4 seconds of pretty much like very, very high damage reduction. And then Warcry with Impunity, pretty much standard on any Barb build ever. Like, you have to have that. And Revenge with Provocation, because that's going to give you tons of damage. It actually isn't a big source of health back. It gives you a little bit of health back, but most of your health back is going to be coming from like health globes and health potions. And then every once in a while you'll get those Revenge procs on big groups, and that's going to give you a little bit of health. But mainly that gives you a ton of damage. Ignore Pain with Ironhide, that's going to help you out, especially against the elite packs and the more like large packs of enemies whenever your leap is just not long enough to kill them. And then Wrath of Berserker with Insanity, that's going to give you that crowd control, the attack speed, big damage to destroy those hard elite packs fast. And then of course Tough as Nails and Nerves of Steel to give you more armor, and then Berserker Rage so you can do more damage at max fury, which you're pretty much always going to be at max fury. You don't have any fury spenders here. Alright guys, that's the build. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video and got something out of it. This is Colby Cheese, and if you want to see more videos, I'm going to be doing a wizard one later. I also have some other barbarian builds, especially ones that you're going to do while you're leveling up if you're not Inferno yet, since I know a lot of you guys are still not in Inferno. So I've got a lot of other things to show you, and if you want to check that out, please subscribe to the channel as I've got more coming. But that's it for now, and I'll see you around for the next one. Peace out.